Hello, everyone. Welcome to Options with Doug, streaming live on Monday and Wednesday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Bookmap Discord and the Bookmap YouTube channel. Before I get started, I need to go through the disclosures. General disclosure: all Bookmap Limited materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. Risk disclosure: trading futures, equities, and options involves substantial risk of loss. It is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Here's my contact information. The best way to get in touch with me is through Discord. My name on Discord is Doug P. Also in Bookmap Discord, there's an Options-Doug chat channel. That's a great place to post questions, comments, and content related to the topics of my presentation and the topics of the channel that I'll go through in just a moment. I'm also on X. My name there is @Pless. Just a few notes here, a few news items. First of all, Bookmap is encouraging everyone to join Discord. You do need a Bookmap subscription. There is a free subscription available if you're not already a subscriber. Once you subscribe, you will need to verify your account, then you can fully participate in Bookmap Discord and the chat and the streams in Discord. There are many Discord-only events like the Funded Trader webinar series a couple weeks ago. So again, please join me in Bookmap Discord. It'll help me to continue this webinar. If you like what I'm doing, if you like this content, it's free. Just join me in Bookmap Discord. The Cyber Monday sale is still going on. That goes on through December 12th. And you can go to bookmap.com for more information. Also note there's a futures trading competition beginning tomorrow. You can go to competition.bookmap.com for more information. And then finally, Bruce will be doing a webinar today to introduce more information about the competition. That will be immediately after my webinar today at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So I do need to wrap it up at 2:30 for this webinar. All right, here are the key tenets to my approach for trading. This is the basis of my approach for trading. I believe that options trades and market maker hedging activity are key drivers of price in many stocks and futures, certainly in the large cap tech stocks like the Magnificent Seven stocks that I follow and trade, as well as the equity index futures like the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ 100. And for the S&P 500, SPX is the underlying index. SPY is the ETF version of that index. And the ES futures contract is a derivative of SPX. And when traders buy and sell puts and calls in SPX and SPY, market makers take the opposite side of those trades and they hedge their delta exposure with ES futures. And for the NASDAQ 100, NDX is the underlying index. QQQ is the much more liquid ETF version of that index. And the NQ futures contract is a derivative of NDX. And just like the S&P 500, when traders buy and sell puts and calls in NDX and QQQ, market makers take the opposite side of those trades and they hedge their delta exposure with NQ futures. The focus of my presentation today and the focus of the Options-Doug chat channel is options, order flow, the impact of options markets on stocks and futures, and the influence of market maker hedging flow on price action. I have a two-step process for trading, and the first is planning, and I use positional analysis. I look at how traders and market makers are positioned in the options market and how those positions change from day to day to develop a thesis regarding the expected trading range and volatility for the day, as well as the directional bias. And the second step in my process is execution. I look at real-time order flow in Bookmap and real-time market maker hedging flow in Spotgamma Hero to confirm my thesis and for setups. And when I talk about setups today, I will be focusing on an underlying asset. Setups in that asset can be taken with futures contracts, shares of stock, or options depending on the asset and the way you like to trade. And I will be going through this process today from planning to execution. Questions and comments are welcome, and I will be watching both the Options Hashtag chat channel as well as the chat and YouTube for your questions and comments. Please feel free to post. I'll do my best to answer your questions. Hello, Stephen. Welcome. Glad you're here. Hello, Suresh. Welcome. Glad you're here as well. Here's my agenda for today. Monday, December 9th. First of all, I want to go over news items, economic data, and events for the week. Then I'll go through my positional analysis. Then I'll review some setups from earlier today. Then I'll take a look at the live market. When I get to the live market, if anyone has any stocks they want me to take a look at, please let me know and I'll be glad to do that. All right, let's start with news items. Not a lot going on this week, but there are a couple of key data releases. First of all, Wednesday at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, CPI data comes out. And then on Thursday, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, again, the PPI data comes out at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. So CPI on Wednesday, PPI on Thursday. So light week, but a couple of key data releases. All right, let's move on to positional analysis. Let's start with the S&P 500. And this is the ES Futures and Bookmap. There are a couple of, actually, let's go ahead and move ahead and take a look at the underlying index charts. And then we'll quickly move on. So let's take a look, first of all, at the S&P 500 index, SPX, the underlying index. This is a one-day chart, 1 year worth of data. Rally continues. All right, let's take a look now at a Suresh, I'll get to your question in just a minute. So let's move on. SPX, this is a 30-day 1 hour chart. So we took a look at a 1-day chart. Big uptrend. Again, 30-day 1 hour chart. Let me point out a couple of key events. This is the post-election rally. Pull back to around 58.50. And then a rally up to the 6,100 call wall that acted as resistance last Friday. We'll take a closer look at that in just a minute. All right, let's zoom in on this chart so we can take a closer look at the levels. First of all, the dashed purple lines are showing the lower and upper weekly expected move. This is based on the options market, based on the closing price for SPX from last Friday. Those levels remain in place for the entire week. The dashed blue lines are showing the lower and upper daily expected move, also based on the options market, based on the closing price for SPX from last Friday again. I do post these levels in Discord every day the evening before. So SPX trading down below, has traded down below the lower daily expected move. Looks like it's trading right around that level right now. So there's the expected moves based on the options market. Now let's take a look at the Spotgamma levels. These are based on gamma-weighted open interest. They're provided to Spotgamma subscribers on a variety of trading platforms. This is Thinkorswim, again, a 30-day 1 hour chart. I'm going to point out the key daily levels. First of all, the absolute gamma strike is at 6,000. That's a strike with largest absolute positive and negative gamma. So that's where most of the gamma-weighted open interest is concentrated. This is a little bit unusual, but the put wall is now above the absolute gamma strike at 60.70. That's also the volatility trigger. So the put wall is a strike with largest net negative gamma. It can be expected to act as support. Did not do its job today so far. And then that is also the volatility trigger. That is Spotgamma's proprietary volatility and gamma flip level. Below that level, market makers' position on the gamma curve is negative. In a negative gamma environment, market makers have to trade with price to hedge their delta exposure. That tends to enhance or increase volatility. Above that level, market makers' position on the gamma curve is positive. In a positive gamma environment, market makers have to trade against price to hedge their delta exposure. That tends to subdue or decrease volatility. And again, it looks like SPX is trading right on top of that level. We'll take a much closer look at gamma in just a minute. And then above that is the call wall at 6,100, the level that did act as resistance on Friday morning. That's historically the largest net positive gamma, and that can be expected to act as resistance. Did its job last Friday. All right, shifts and levels for SPX, the volatility trigger and put wall both shifted higher, and pretty substantial shift higher in the put wall for SPX. And then for SPY, the volatility trigger and put wall also shifted higher, as well as the absolute gamma strike. So a bullish hat trick for SPY. So overall, bullish shifts higher in levels for the S&P 500. All right, let's wrap up our view of SPX with a 1-minute chart so we can get a closer look at the levels in play for today. All right, this is showing data from Wednesday to today, so regular trading hours in the darker shaded portions. And now we can zoom in. I want to zoom in just a little bit closer here. I do want to show you here the call wall acted as resistance on Friday, almost to the tick. Again, that's the call wall. Did its job, acted as resistance. Now it looks like the put wall volatility trigger at 60.70 is acting as resistance. All right, so again, that's the 60.70 put wall volatility trigger. And typically you do want to be on the lookout for more movement below the volatility trigger. All right, so that is the SPX in a 1-day, 1 hour, 1 minute view. Right now, again, SPX struggling with the volatility trigger, the put wall, and also the lower daily expected move. All right, back to Bookmap now. So in Bookmap, I have my own notes here, so I can show these levels. Here's that 60.70 level. Put wall volatility trigger. There was some consolidation this morning around that level. Price broke lower. Now it is acting as resistance. And note, the SPY 607 put wall volatility trigger. Price is trading below that level as well. And then this is the ES, lower daily expected move. I do calculate that independently from the SPX, lower daily expected move. And just looking at SPY levels here, right before the cash open, the SPY 608 large gamma 3 level acted as resistance, and then price did break below this 605 large gamma 2 level, but is now trading higher, and that level did act as support around 1 o'clock today. All right, so that is the S&P 500 levels in play for today. And again, SPX ES struggling at the 60-70 put wall volatility trigger. And note there is a difference in price between ES and SPX. And today it is somewhere between 10 and 11. Right now it looks like it may be closer to 10. And when I set these levels, it was trading around 11. So I'm showing, let me check my spreadsheet. All right, so I'm back at 10 right now. So I'm back to the closer level. So I'm showing ES minus SPX at 10. That offset is 10. So I'm showing the 60-70 put wall volatility trigger at ES 60-80. And I do post those index relationships that I'm using every day in Discord. And that ES minus SPX 10, that was my final index relationship that I did post in Discord. All right, so that's the S&P 500. We'll talk about setups in just a few minutes. Let's take a look at NASDAQ. Similar chart. Let's take a quick look at the underlying index charts. First of all, QQQ. I'm going to zoom in on this in just a second. Just wanted to show that the QQQ has kind of done a round trip. This was the low, overnight low on Friday. This is actually Thursday evening to Friday morning. Overnight low, right around 521. Move up, move down. Again, almost to that 521 level. All right, let's zoom in now. So price action for today, regular trading hours, dark shaded portion. Key levels, 525, the absolute gamma strike. And then a combo level, combo 1 level just before that. That acted as support just after the cash open. Then price broke below that level. And here is the volatility trigger put wall. Volatility trigger put wall at 524. Price trying to make it back up to that level. So those are the key levels for QQQ. And for QQQ, all 4 key daily levels moved higher from Friday. So that is very bullish. Volatility trigger, put wall, call wall, absolute gamma strike, all moved higher. Let's take a look at NDX. NDX also made a round trip and actually broke a little bit lower than the Thursday low. Call wall for NDX right now at 21,500. Combo 4 level just below that. And for NDX, the volatility trigger shifted higher and the absolute gamma strike shifted lower. All right, so the 2 levels again in play. Call wall 21,500. That was the absolute gamma strike on Friday. Call wall today, absolute gamma strike, move lower. All right, so that's NDX. A lot of levels in play for today. Key for the, I thought for a short setup, right here was the break below 525. And we'll take a look at the options market, see what options traders are doing in just a few minutes. Grinding lower, then break below 525, down below the NQ lower daily expected move. Almost down to that 521 level that acted as support before. All right, again, more about setups in just a few minutes. Let's wrap up our positional analysis by taking a look at Gamma. I'm going to start with Gamma notional at the beginning of the day. This is market maker's position on the Gamma curve at the beginning of the day. for the S&P 500, NASDAQ, and Russell 2000. Note, with the exception of RUT, all these numbers are positive. So in a positive gamma environment for an index, Spotgamma assumes that traders are short calls, market makers are long calls, hence the positive gamma. They have to trade against price to hedge their delta exposure. So that's at the beginning of the day. For SPX, SPY, and QQQ, gamma notional moved higher from Friday. And the same for RUT and IWM, and moved slightly lower for NDX. So overall, positive gamma at the beginning of the day. All right, let's take a real-time look at gamma now by going to the trace tool. This is Spotgamma Trace. It's available to Spotgamma subscribers. And there are different views of Greeks here. Gamma, delta, and charm. I'm looking at gamma. This is what I look at the beginning of the day. The blue area is showing positive gamma. Market maker, positive gamma notional, positive gamma. And in this positive gamma environment, the expectation is that SPX will move slowly through this level. Market makers trading against price to hedge their delta exposure. And you can also see the positive gamma here in these GEX, gamma exposure bars. And then pockets of negative gamma, neutral, and then negative gamma above and below. All right, so in this positive gamma environment, looking for slower movement, more range trading rather than a strong trending market. Let's step back and take a look at gamma notional toward the beginning of the day. Let's go back to about 9:40. You can see in the current range on the chart, mostly positive gamma. So I'm going to step through time, keep an eye on the GEX bars on the left, and notice the highest positive gamma here is at 6,055. And as you all know, that is the short strike of the JP Morgan collar that expires on the 31st. So stepping through time. Some positive gamma building above that 6,055 level. Now some building below as well. All right, back to real time. Again, the 6,055 is dominating. All right, so that's the view of gamma. Note this stability index is a little low based on the positive gamma that I see here, but Brent did discuss that last Thursday. For you Spotgamma subscribers, if you missed that, go take a look at the subscriber Q&A from last Thursday. And I believe he attributed that to somewhat of a lack of participation with larger traders. All right, so that's the view of gamma, positive gamma. So my thesis for the day, just based on the shifts and levels, certainly had to be bullish, and then looking for low volatility, with always IV VIX this low, always a potential for a sharp move. Spotgamma calls that jump risk. But there's, again, a lot of positive gamma to catch price down below. All right, let's move on. Now to execution. I'm going to start with the S&P 500, and we'll take a look at a couple of setups from today in the S&P 500, NASDAQ, and a few stocks. Then we'll get to the live market. All right, so this is the hero chart, hedging impact real-time options for the S&P 500 index. So again, I'm going to start with the S&P 500. As always, take a look at what options traders have been doing today. Again, this is the hero chart. There are two lines on this chart. White line is price for SPX, and the purple line is the hero signal. And a falling hero signal indicates traders are taking negative delta options positions. They are buying puts and or selling calls. A rising hero signal indicates they are taking positive delta positions. They're buying calls and or selling puts. So again, this is the index signal showing a combined signal of SPX, SPY, XSP, and ES futures. Purple line, hero signal, options trades, and market maker hedging activity in real time. All right, so that's the index signal. There's also the equity signal. And what this chart is showing is options trades and market maker hedging activity for all 500 stocks in the underlying index, S&P 500 index. I'm going to zoom in now, open full screen, and want to point out for this signal, trending down from the open, this flow alert comes in right before the big drop. Very timely flow alert signal, signaling significant options activity. That came in about 10:12, just after 10:10. Note how the hero signal breaks sharply lower just after that signal as price drops below the put wall, hedge wall. All right, that's the equity signal. I'm going to shift to puts and calls. Actually, let's go back to the S&P 500 index signal. Note the index signal was flat, then started to sharply drop. The flow alert came in a couple of minutes before the equity signal as the hero signal started to drop sharply lower. So a little bit of a lead here in the flow with the flow alert, but I thought the equity signal was a little bit more helpful this morning for a short with that trending down from the open. All right, let's shift to puts and calls to get more clarity. So this does provide more clarity. I'm going to have to jump back. So we'll start with the S&P 500. Now you can see that traders were buying puts. That's shown by the falling blue line, and that signal started to move lower just after 10 a.m. Flow alert comes in. It's shown on the call line, the orange line, but they're really, it's not necessarily related to calls only. So blue line, put line starts to move lower. Flow alert comes in, and the call line starts to move slightly lower. All right, so that's the index signal, signaling a very clear signal, I think, for a thought for a short just after 10 a.m. Let's take a look at the equity signal. Now, in this case, both the call line and put line were moving lower. Put line a little bit more clear, definitely dropping. Flow alert comes in, and the hero signals accelerate down. So let's go take a look at Bookmap now. Go back to ES. I'm going to zoom in. All right, so let's take a look at the clues in Bookmap for a short setup. All right, so just after 9:30, ES breaks below the VWAP. VWAP, that's shown by the blue line there, that's VWAP. Can't make it up above. Slowly grinding down. And then right around 1015 starts to move more quickly down. Then finally it breaks below the 607 SPY 607 put wall volatility trigger, as traders were taking negative delta options positions both in the index hero as well as the equities. So they were taking negative delta positions in the index components as well as the S&P 500 stocks. The volume dots in Bookmap are showing market buy minus sell. So you can see the magenta volume dots here, which are showing more sellers than buyers, starting to become more prevalent. Cumulative volume delta, that's shown by the magenta line, starts to fall, and as price starts to move lower, large traders start selling with iceberg orders. So they are following the move down. And then note also the yellow line is moving lower. That's showing sell stop orders, helping to fuel the move lower. So Suresh, there you go. Following yellow line there, you can see the sell stop orders helping to fuel that move lower. And as far as the stops and icebergs indicator, Bookmap detects these stops and iceberg orders after they've been executed. So you can tell right here that sell stop orders are helping to fuel that move lower. All right, so there's the short setup in the S&P 500. All right, let's go back and take a look at Gamma. And I'm going to go back to, let's take a look at another view of Gamma. I'm going to go to the delta pressure. And what this is showing is selling pressure above in red, buying support below in blue. Let's step back a little bit. Let's go back to about, whoops, didn't want to go back that far. Go back to about 1110. So you can see as price is moving lower, the red selling pressure. This is the hero line right here. This, whoops. Purple is the hero line. And the S&P 500 falling down from that selling pressure, hero falling into this blue buying support. Positive gamma zone providing support. All right, let's move forward in time. You can see the shifts in selling pressure and buying support as price moves. But always the buying support holding right here in this very positive gamma. And you can see most recently just above the put wall volatility trigger, the selling pressure again. Right now it looks like SPX is in somewhat of a neutral zone between the blue below and the red above. All right, we'll keep an eye on that. So this is the spot right at VWAP where the S&P 500 entered that selling pressure above, the red selling pressure. All right, let's take a look at NASDAQ. Let's go back to Hero. Note traces for SPX only. So we'll go to Hero. Let's go to the NASDAQ signal. This is similar to the index signal for the S&P 500. This is showing options trades, market maker hedging activity in real time for NDX and QQQ. So what this is showing is traders were buying puts in the index up until about 11:15, something like that. So net for the day, they have been buying calls. That's shown by the positive delta notional for the orange line, and buying puts. That's shown by the negative delta notional. Note how when the put line leveled off, traders started buying calls, price consolidated. So that is the index signal for the NASDAQ. There's another signal that we can take a look at for the NASDAQ, and that is the Mag 7 signal. That is showing options trades and market maker hedging activity for the stocks known as the Magnificent Seven: Apple, Amazon, Google, Meta, Microsoft, Nvidia, and Tesla. And again, you can see the sharp drop. Traders started buying puts right around 10:10. A couple of minutes later, started selling calls, and Mag 7 drops lower. Put buyers take the foot off the gas, start buying calls, and now price consolidating. And note price is shown for QQQ here. In the NASDAQ index chart, it's NDX. For here, it is QQQ. All right, back to Bookmap. Zoom in again. Just like the S&P 500, NASDAQ grinding lower, then right around 10:20 breaks sharply lower. Aggressive sellers coming in, no more green volume dots. Sell stop orders start fall. Yellow line starts falling. Blue line to magenta line, cumulative volume delta, also dropping. Couple of pullback entries for shorts. Price moves down below the lower daily expected move, down toward the 521.0 gamma level. So from just after the open, right here at 650, down to 450. So about a 200-point move lower in NQ. Actually, didn't mean to do that quite yet. And note, as price was moving lower, large traders were fading this move with iceberg orders. That's shown by the rising light blue line, helping to stop the fall. Again, as options traders took the foot off the gas, put buyers took the foot off the gas, started buying calls. Sellers are exhausted. See that last small magenta volume dot and green volume dots start to come in, aggressive buyers coming in. All right, any questions about the indexes so far? Let's take a quick look at some stocks. Then we'll get to the live market, unless anybody has any questions about the indexes. So Apple bucking the trend today. Very strong day. Let's see what options traders are doing at Apple. Go to Apple. Call buyers. Shown by the rising orange line, when traders buy calls, market makers sell the calls. They have to buy stock to hedge their delta exposure, and price moves sharply higher until the call buyers take the foot off the gas, then consolidates. Note a couple of flow alerts came in the morning. Pretty timely flow alerts signaling significant options activity. Bullish day in Apple. Next, Amazon. Note 230 is the call wall. Doing a great job acting as resistance today. Price rejected that level a couple of times. So the move today has been driven all by calls. The orange line in the morning up to the call wall. Traders buy calls. As price reaches the 230 call wall, they start selling calls. Price moves lower. Buy the dip comes in, start buying calls again up to the call wall. And now they continue to buy calls. So let's go take a look at Amazon and Bookmap, see what's happening. Go to Amazon. There's that first rejection at the call wall. Note the high liquidity of that level. Those were limit sell orders in the order book. There were some in the order book before the cash open. More came in right after the cash open. Looks like those orders were filled, came back in, filled again. So sellers at 230. All right, so that's Amazon. Let's take a look at Meta. Bearish day in Meta. Let's see what options traders are doing. Go to Meta. All right, except for this blip here, block trades. Traders were buying puts and selling calls. And they took the foot off the gas right around 11:10, and now Meta's consolidating. No gamma levels in play for today, but call sellers, and put buyers definitely driving price in Meta. Back to Bookmap. Pretty nice move lower in the morning. I'll zoom in on this just a little bit. Price was making a series of lower highs. Break below VWAP. Then a break below 620. And price started to move sharply lower. That's about when the index started to move lower. Indexes. All right, so that's Meta. Now it looks like some buyers are coming in. You can see the green volume dots as well as the rising cumulative volume delta. Starting about 11:15 as the sellers were exhausted and the put buyers and call sellers took the foot off the gas. Next stock, Microsoft. And so it looks like some of the high flyers, Brent was talking about this earlier today, have been leading the market lower. So Meta was certainly strong the last few days. All right, so moving on to Microsoft now. Let's see what options traders are doing. Call buyers came in right around 10 o'clock. Price moves higher, and call buyers take the foot off the gas, call peak pattern, and now Microsoft consolidating as again that fuel that has helped to drive price higher, the call buyers, is gone. Back to Bookmap. Multiple high liquidity targets shown by Bookmap. Heat map shows a history of limit orders in the order book. And then price finally hit the last target and began to reverse lower and consolidate after the options traders, the call buyers, took their foot off the gas. Let's take a look at NVIDIA. Let's see what options traders doing. So NVIDIA, of course, in the news today. I think it was something about Chinese probe of NVIDIA. So NVIDIA broke lower this morning. You can see the flow alert as put buyers come in, call sellers follow, price moves down, put buyers take the foot off the gas, call buyers come in, dip buyers, and now NVIDIA moving back up toward the 140 key gamma strike. And that 139 is the put wall hedge wall. Let's take a look. I'm going to shift to the total signal just to see if that gives more clarity. So yeah, it does a little bit. So note the sharp drop lower, just right around 1020. Again, right when the index started to move lower. Oops. All right, so there's NVIDIA total view. Let's go to full screen. All right, I'm going to shift back to puts and calls. Take a look at Tesla. Tesla, another one of those high flyers. Sorry about that. Spotgamma did introduce some new features today. That seems to be causing a little bit of a problem. Go to full screen. So it looks like I may have to stick with total view now. All right, so you can see this peak pattern just after the open. Flow alert comes in, signaling significant options activity, and these flow alerts can often signal a potential reversal, in this case from positive delta notional to negative delta notional. That's exactly what happened. Hero signal making lower highs, drops sharply lower. Tesla follows. Note 400 is the call wall, key gamma strike. Price did trade above that level, but then reversed sharply lower. Let's go to Bookmap again. Here's the 400 level. Price moved up above that level, then broke lower. Then Tesla found resistance at VWAP. Aggressive sellers started to come in. You can see all the magenta volume dots on that sharp drop lower as traders were taking negative delta options positions. Back to Hero. Took the foot off the gas right around 11:15. Now price consolidating. All right, does anyone have any stocks they want me to take a look at? Hello, oh boy, welcome, glad you're here. Oh boy wants to look at Intel. Sure. A little bit of options activity today in Intel, pretty choppy price action. Looks like traders are taking positive delta options positions. Intel not necessarily responding with a price range of about 30 cents maybe. Intel did find resistance at the 21 key gamma strike hedge wall. So there you go, oh boy. Does anyone else have any stocks they want me to take a look at? All right, so still pretty choppy in the S&P 500 index signal. Same for the equities. Let's take a look at trace delta pressure. Still somewhat of a neutral zone. Hero signal, it looks like on this chart, is trending lower. Let's take a look at the trace charm pressure heat map. And this will give us a clue of where SPX could end up at the end of the day. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit. So what I'm looking for is, I'm going to change the color here of my pen tool. All right, so what I'm looking for is an area between blue buying support below and red selling pressure above as a potential pin zone, and also very positive gamma. And that's again at the 6,055 strike. The short call strike of the JP Morgan collar. So I would say a potential pinning zone somewhere in here. Again, potential. So it depends on what traders are doing now. Let's go back and check. Delta pressure. Go back to Hero. So the equity signal may have made a higher high. Equity signal pretty choppy. Let's go to Bookmap. See what traders are doing. Check order flow. So again, this is where S&P 500 moved into that selling pressure. Red selling pressure above. Reversed it with VWAP. Aggressive sellers started to come in. And Suresh, here you go. You can see the stop run up to that level. The buy stop orders. So SPX heading back down toward lows of the day. So next immediate target would be the 605 large gamma 2 level. And that is SPY 605. Let's check charm pressure again. Let's go to the index signal for the Hero signal here. So I shifted from the equity signal to the index signal, and that is pointing lower. 6,055 again, largest positive gamma strike on the board, and charm is showing a potential zone down below that pinning zone at 6,050. If price continues to move lower. Note the contour lines. These lines right here both in the red and blue are kind of converging on this level. So ways to trade that. First of all, again, up at this level, the red selling pressure. Go back to delta pressure. Take a short there with a target at 6,055, 6,050, or take a shot at a butterfly. Go back to SPX. Take a shot at a butterfly here centered at 6,055. This is just a very narrow, cheap shot, 5-point wide butterfly. $55. So a cheap shot down at that level for that pin at that level at the end of the day. Back to Bookmap. So really the question now is, does this positive gamma hold low of the day, or does price continue to move lower? Back to Bookmap. Very slow grind lower. Let's take a look at our SPX chart. SPX right now is showing a series of potentially higher lows. Let's check NASDAQ. NASDAQ also grinding lower. Let's go back and check Hero. WRB asks, can you get an edge from now for joint JP Morgan holding breakdown? So I assume you mean that 60.55 level, SPX 60.55. My guess is that will hold as support. That's the expectation, that that positive gamma level will hold as support, but it's a very strong potential target for the end of the day today. So it all depends on what traders do in the next 90 minutes. Let's check delta pressure. So on this chart, looked like a little bit of buying support below. Hero may be reversing higher. And go to Gamma. Well, that's charm pressure again. Let's go to Gamma. Still SPX in this very positive gamma. Bright blue. One last look at Bookmap. Go back to ES. Hello, Abu. Welcome. Glad you're here. I asked, can you show the NQ delta pressure? Sorry, Abu. At this time, the trace gamma, delta pressure, and charm pressure are only available for SPX. All right, everyone. It is time for me to wrap it up. Bruce's webinar begins at 2:30. This is about the trading competition that begins tomorrow. So everyone, I want to thank you very much for watching. Thanks for your questions, comments. Remember, Wednesday CPI data comes out 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, and we'll talk about it on Wednesday afternoon. So again, everyone, have a great afternoon, and I will see you on Wednesday. Thanks for watching. I'll see you then. Bye.